Good morning, Lana, and welcome to our today's lesson. That is going to be majorly still on food and nutrition. And in this particular time today, on 11th of August, we are going to look at food for nutritional deficiency diseases. In examination, we may get them being called deficiency diseases. So from the name, these are diseases that are majorly contracted because of lack of certain and that specific nutrients that may lack in a child's body. When we eat food, Lana, as we mentioned in our previous lessons, when we eat food, there are nutrients that we gain, that we get into our body. So when the food lacks these nutrients, Lana, we are likely to get these diseases that we are going to learn in our today's lesson. So, from the definition of whatever we are learning, deficiency diseases are diseases that are related to lack of particular food nutrients. And that particular there is same as specific. We look at them here, and you realize that each of them is caused because of lack of a certain nutrient that is very important to the body. So, from there are only four that we are going to learn here, and I'm updating a certain abbreviation there. That is mark. The right mark, then you get all of them. So M will stand for marasmus. Marasmus comes our first deficiency disease that we are going to learn. Then number two, we have anemia. Anemia is our second one. Then we have rickets. And finally we have kwashiorkor. So in this stage of learning class 5, we look at only these four deficiencies. Don't think of any other at this level. So number one here, as you can see, let's begin with the kwashiorkor. To see at which age can somebody be attacked by this disease, then what is the main cause, what are the signs and symptoms, and what are the prevention measures that we can put in to prevent somebody from contracting such diseases. So number one, as we have said, we have kwashiorkor, and kwashiorkor is mainly attacks children under the age of 5. So it's 5 years and below. Kwashiorkor attacks 5 years and below, not more than that. Meaning you as in class 5 now, you can't be attacked by this disease. Then the main cause is lack of proteins. Lack of proteins will cause that. So what you need to know by the word proteins there, you get that a child under the age of 5 years. So let me talk about a child who is still breastfeeding, a baby. A baby under the age of 6 months should still be fed by mother's milk through breastfeeding. So when breastfeeding is stopped under the age of 6, then this child is likely to lack a lot of proteins that are very vital. So a child is being breastfed because of the protein that is available in the mother's milk. So when a child is stopped from breastfeeding under the age of 5, at tender age, let's just talk about that. Still under 5 years, then that child is likely to contract kwashiorkor, because any extra food we may give to this child may not contain enough quantity of protein that child needed. Hence, the reason why children are breastfed after a certain given time to help them gain enough protein. So children under that age are really likely to get kwashiorkor when we don't give them enough proteins. So what are the signs and symptoms of this disease? We know that a child who has kwashiorkor is likely to have sores at the corner of the mouth. Sores at the corner of the mouth, that is the marking point. Number two, swollen parts of the body, like the face, So we need to have swollen face, and other parts of the body like cheeks, stomach, arms, and legs look swollen. Then we have the word a child has brown and thin hair that easily fall off. Just talk of brown hair. And then we also have the child is unhappy and cries a lot. Child cries a lot. When somebody cries, somebody can't be happy. That kind of person must be unhappy. And then the child becomes inactive. The child is inactive. We have inactivity then. And again, the child is very weak. So when somebody is inactive and somebody is very weak automatically, then the child is a slow learner at school. The child cannot learn fast. Slow learner at school. And then again, the skin becomes loose and pale. And other organs such as the liver are also affected. The skin becomes pale. Paleness of skin. So pale is just the issue. The skin is not having the right color. The skin appears a bit white in nature. So that is the issue of pale here. Paleness of the skin. So all those are signs that can tell us that somebody may have kwashiorkor. And then how do we prevent? Kwashiorkor is prevented by eating food rich in proteins. So we should eat food. Eat food rich in protein. We should eat food rich in proteins, or we should eat a balanced diet. At times, the issue of balanced diet here is also an answer. Eat a balanced diet. So much for that. Then you go to our number 2. And our number 2 is going to be marasmus. Marasmus, I need to know what marasmus is. Marasmus is a disease that is majorly attacking somebody who starvates a lot. So this one is caused a lack of enough food, or at times you can call it starvation. Starvation can cause marasmus. So you need to know the age it attacks. It mainly affects young children. It affects just young children. Young children. And not to go to the signs and symptoms here. The child also here cries a lot again. Cries a lot. The child cries a lot. And again, the child is thin. The child is thin and bones becoming very visible. The child appears thin, and then muscles disappear. Muscles disappear. Then the child looks like a small old man. Child looks like an old man. And then the child lacks interest in playing. Lack of interest in playing. Those are very important points. Then the child will become a slow learner as well in class. Then the brain of the child is also affected. It affects the brain. Affects the brain of the learner. And then lastly, the child is restless. The child appears restless all the time. And then you know, how do you prevent? Prevention, you should eat enough food. Eat enough food. Eat enough food. We should give our children enough food. Food that satisfies them, and it should be a balanced diet. Then we go to our number 4. Our number 4 is going to be anemia. Number 3, anemia is caused by lack of ions in the blood. Lack of ions in the what? In the blood causes that. Or you can talk of lack of ions in the diet. Yeah, that is the main cause. So after there's lack of ions in the diet, then automatically it will result in lack of ions in the blood. That will come later. So anemia is caused by that. We take food that is not rich in ions. So later we may have anemia. And what is anemia in that case? Anemia is simply a disease that is caused when somebody has not enough blood in the body. You are said to be having anemia. So ions is required in the body to make the red coloring matter of blood, that is hemoglobin. When we lack, a term is being reduced there. There's a term there we just mentioned, hemoglobin. You need to know what a hemoglobin is. And hemoglobin, that level we've just mentioned, that it is the coloring matter of blood. This is the coloring matter of blood. When we were looking at plants, we said, what is the coloring matter in plants? The green coloring matter in plant is the so-called chlorophyll. The green coloring matter, what makes the plants look green? We looked at that, we were looking at plants. So when it comes to human beings, the coloring matter of blood that makes it to be red now is so-called hemoglobin. So when you lack that, Lana, you say that you have anemia. When you lack that, we now have anemia. So ions required in the body to make that red, to make the hemoglobin. When ions is not there, automatically you lack blood. So we have talked of the cause. Then we go to age. It also attacks young children. And then the signs and symptoms. Number 1, pale skin. When somebody lacks blood, you have a pale skin. So that is going to be number 1, pale skin. And number 2, feeling tired quickly. That is called fatigue. You'll automatically experience fatigue because of lack of blood. Then feeling too weak to do simple tasks. Feeling weak after doing a simple task. By talking about this, let's say talk about somebody who is in class, has already done the first lesson, maybe maths. Then you feel very tired. That's a sign of fatigue. And this is a simple task like doing mathematics. Then you feel very tired. That is called fatigue. Just becoming tired all of a sudden. Then feeling very weak after a simple task, meaning that you lack blood. I know blood contains energy. So when there's no blood in the body, then automatically there is no energy in the body. Then we have dizziness. Dizziness is also there. Then fingers, eyes, gums, and palm appears pain. Even the fingers also are pale. And then lastly, one feels lightheaded and the child cries a lot. We also have crying here, cries a lot, and etc. Then prevention measures here. We should eat food that is rich in iron. Eat food rich in iron. And the examples we learned when we were looking at vitamins. Remember, we talked of liver, green vegetables, the green leafy vegetables. We also have dark green vegetables such as spinach. red meat, liver, and etc. So I won't mention them there. Then go to the last one, before we call it a day. Our last one is going to be rickets, that's number 4. And rickets, Lana, is associated with weak bones. We said about the bones of the legs becoming ball-shaped. So what brings this is simply lack of a certain very important nutrient in the body called vitamin D. This is lack of vitamin D, calcium, and phosphorus. And all these minerals we have mentioned here, we mentioned it prior, that was last week, that they really help us. These ones help in creation of strong bones. So I mentioned why the bones. I drew somebody, and I said that the legs appear in this manner. And I explained why the legs are in this manner. Because the body is heavy. And when the bones on the legs are already weak, they can't hold this heavy body firmly. Hence, they tend to do what? To bend. Same to when you have heated a strong plastic on fire. Then you realize that it becomes weak and now it bends. Same way, when these bones are weak, they are no longer strong again. They can't stand like that. But they now tend to bend because of the what? Of the weakness that they have gained because of lack of these nutrients. So we need to know that, and we say that it is caused by lack of the whatever we have said, and then it's also attacks children. It attacks children. So the signs and symptoms are soft and weak bones, soft and weak bones. The first sign and symptom. Then the legs become weak and are not able to support. Soft and weak bones. Legs are ball-shaped. Legs become ball-shaped, as I mentioned. Then how do we prevent this disease? We prevent this disease by taking food rich in vitamin D, taking food rich in vitamin D, such as green vegetables, milk, fish, and liver. We mentioned that. And then exposing children to sunlight. Exposing children to sunlight can also help. Sunlight, exposure to sunlight, which activate the synthesis of vitamin D in the skin. This one's bring vitamin D. It accelerates the synthesis of vitamin D in the skin. So Lana, we said that they were only for marasmus, anemia, rickets, and kwashiorkor. And if we can go shortly before we end this our lesson, is that we need to know that marasmus is caused because of what? And we mentioned that marasmus is caused because of lack of enough food. Let me do a small summary here. We mentioned when we were beginning that we have 4. That is mark. When you are asked that which one of the following is not a deficiency disease, then just write mark on the side of your paper there, and you're able to know that this one is marasmus, this one is anemia, then this one is rickets, then this one is kwashiorkor. So it is kwashiorkor like that. Then you're able to know that which nutrient we lack to give these diseases. And we have said that marasmus is lack of enough food. Anemia, we have said is lack of what? Ions in the blood. And then rickets Rickets is caused because of lack of vitamin D, phosphorus, and what again? We have mentioned three things. Lack of vitamin D, phosphorus, and calcium. So we can talk of calcium, vitamin D, and phosphorus. And then the last one is kwashiorkor. That is caused because of lack of proteins in the body. So we can remove this, and then we are left with an acronym here. Lack of enough food. So we can talk of food. A very good example. This is enough of enough food. Just know that is food meaning lack of enough food. Lack of ions in the blood. Lack of phosphorus, calcium, and what lastly? And vitamin D. And then lastly, kwashiorkor is caused because of lack of proteins. And we shall have cleared whereas with the deficiency diseases in that angle. So until next time, then I want to leave there. I'm going to give you work that you ensure that you do and send for money. Goodbye.